Smile. You're listening to Wolf Radio, for students by students.
All right, Britton, get your research up.
Good to go. All right, campers, let's take a seat by the campfire.
And welcome to Camp Comfort Zone.
Pull up a seat by the fire and take a breath.
I know it can be a little scary.
And definitely a bit intimidating.
But we're here to talk. Mental health, physical health, stress, all of it.
So just take a breath and let's talk it out.
Let's help you find your comfort zone.
Hello, campers. Welcome back to Camp Comfort Zone with a little bit of a later night episode. I'm your host, Jordan, and I'm here with my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Eden.
And Ren, who for once is not on the board. That is because we have a very special guest tonight.
Ren, are you asleep?
Oh, we started?
Yeah, you didn't have to be on, did you?
We have this very special guest tonight, our very own Wolf Radio, Maggie.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Maggie. This is your first time on Comfort Zone, and hopefully next season, Maggie will be a full-time member. Love that. Woo! So we have a really great topic to start off with today, and we're going to be talking a lot about shame. Shame. I feel like for shame, the shame bell, I feel like a lot of people experience shame for a lot of different reasons, even if it's something that doesn't feel like you should be experiencing shame for. Like, I feel like some people might experience shame for as simple as an act of, oh, I forgot to study for my test tomorrow. Like, how could I let that happen? How could I forget to do that?
Or like asking for help.
Yeah. Can
And-
feel very vulnerable to do that, and then you're like, oh God, I don't want to talk to anybody about this. Like, why? Yeah.
Like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to do it. I don't even want to, like, think about the fact that I need to, like, seek this assistance. Because I feel like we, as a society, has built a very, like, independent nature, it feels like. And to break away from that almost in any way, shape, form, or capacity feels vulnerable.
Yeah. It's like an outside thing that's almost being put upon you also, because you said the thing about society and how, like, you have certain standards for what's appropriate, what is allowed, what levels of vulnerability are acceptable, and then if you stray from that in any capacity, it's like shamed upon you from others.
We talked about this a little bit before, like, we're taught, some groups of us are taught from, like, a very young age that shame just in general, to feel shame for the simple act of crying, the whole boys don't cry thing. That's, like, I feel like that was a lot of young men's first introduction to shame for something so natural as expressing an emotion.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to talk about as well, because it's sort of like incorporeal, the way that people go about it, where it's like, it's an unnameable thing, and not everything, but a lot of things that people do are fueled by it, whether or not they're even aware of it, because it's the unspeakable in the room, you know?
Yeah, it's the big bad elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about because it's shameful to talk about shame. Like, what would you ever possibly be doing? It's like, it's a weird phrase to think of, but it makes me think of this automatically. Like, oh, if you have nothing to worry about, why are you ashamed of it?
Exactly.
Like, if you have nothing to worry about, if it's not something you should be ashamed of, then why are you ashamed of it? Like, I'm not ashamed of the action. I'm ashamed of the reaction I'm expecting to get.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not ashamed of seeking assistance when I need it. I'm not ashamed of performing this action. I'm ashamed because I know dang well how you're going to react to it.
Yeah. That's very interesting, because I had this theory a while ago talking about how shame is, like, contagious, and it's something that you put on to other people. So, like, if you think about, like, a kid, they don't really have shame about anything that they do. They just are fueled by curiosity, you know, like they're doing things that feel natural to them, and then it's only by other people feeling ashamed and then telling that child that they should be ashamed that you begin to learn what is appropriate and not appropriate for like your actions and your behaviors and how you feel and how you talk about those things.
Like when a parent sees their child like doing something and then they, reprimand the child, like, stop embarrassing yourself,
Mhm.
Is that kind of like what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
saying?
exactly,
like,
because the
children-
kid doesn't know that they're being
Don't
embarrassing.
know embarrassment.
Mhm.
Children don't even know like the socks they have on at any
Yeah.
given time. It's like, why would your son, your 2-year-old,
Mhm.
know so much about like shame and embarrassment? It's another thing of, I feel like, that also can circle back to, which is a heavily debated topic that I also think perpetuated a lot of shame, especially in marginalized communities, corporal punishment.
Yeah, absolutely.
That definitely because shame, especially shame in that capacity, it's not about what you did, it's if your parent views it as a negative to get punished.
That's really interesting because there's a thing that I was looking at before we went on about how guilt can be productive, but shame cannot. Because if you feel guilty about a situation, you recognize that it's wrong and then you're able to grow from it. But shame is taking like the feeling of, oh, I did this and that's bad and I feel bad about it, to, oh, I did this, I am bad, so I should feel bad about myself. And that's how it becomes unproductive. Like shame is like the toxic version of like guilt and like holding your actions accountable. And people wield it as a way to shame people out of doing things that they don't like.
So it's kind of like a growth mindset versus like a stagnant mindset.
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Maggie, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, those are all interesting conceptions of shame. I think I'm using my framework for shame comes from John Bradshaw, who wrote the book Healing the Shame That Binds You. And in his book, he defines shame as you can have positive shame and you can have toxic shame. And the positive shame is like an emotion, and he calls it nourishing shame. And it gives us permission to be human. So when shame gets internalized, we believe that we should be God. So nourishing shame gives us permission to be human. It tells us that we're limited, which prevents burnout. It helps us with boundary issues, and it prevents unhealthy expectations. It also, in development, shame is healthy for children because shame is the type of thing, is the emotion that takes children and keeps them with their parents. So you'll see like a little kid will peek out from behind their mom's skirt and look at you, and then they hide their eyes and they're like, oh goodness. But that's like keeping them with their mom or with their caregiver and keeping them safe. So shame as like a way to keep children in the safety of their caregiver. And it also continues on as we get older to keep us wary of strangers. So that keeps us from getting hurt. It keeps us from getting injured by strangers. It keeps us from giving too much trust to other people. And then shame is spirituality, like knowing you're not God and like you inherently have limitations.
Like understanding your place in the world.
Yeah.
I
Like,
know.
and not just like understanding your place in the world, but understanding your limitations. Like you as a human are inherently limited. There is absolutely no way you can help your mom move house in the same weekend that you have your wedding. You know, like
Yeah.
even though you might want to and you feel shame about not being able to do that, it still allows you to like have your wedding and enjoy that.
It's cool thinking about it as an idea of like setting parameters on stuff.
Mhm.
That's very like a practical way of looking at it, you know?
Yeah.
Maggie, I have a quick question for you.
Mhm.
We talked a little bit about shame, especially in young kids, and you even brought it up a little bit. Just briefly, do you want to touch on, like, since you're a parent, like, the first, like, beginnings of, like, that shame, I guess, from, like, that natural shame that kids sometimes feel?
Oh, my child doesn't have any of that.
Wow.
Well, that's good to know.
We've done, we've tried really hard to prevent shaming her. And I see some shame coming in from other sources. And I try to encourage them, like, hey, don't tell her that she's wrong for being angry. Don't tell her that she's wrong for rolling her eyes at you. You know what? Adults roll their eyes at other people. That's a healthy expression of anger and frustration. What is not healthy is hitting. So if it is a choice between her rolling her eyes at you and hitting you, say that it's okay for her to roll her eyes at you, because, like, come on now. That's the better expression there. And we don't want to shame her for having her feelings and for expressing them, because I want her to do that so she tells me when she's mad so I can ask her why so I can fix it.
Very cool.
So, like, but I see that kind of shame instinct come out in me to, like, shame her for things. Like, she is exploring her body right now, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. It is very developmentally appropriate for her to do that right now. But I am trying to encourage her, like, this is something we do behind closed doors by ourselves. Nobody else should be with us while we're doing
Healthy
this.
parameters of shame.
Yes. And that's exactly what I'm encouraging. So, I think it's very much something that you have to be conscious of, because your internalized shame from your childhood can very easily pass on to your children.
Yeah.
They can most definitely, shame is definitely something that we experience a lot. And this has been a really good discussion, and I do want to segue a little bit more into a much lighter subject, like happy hour.
Let's celebrate our small victories, our big wins, and everything in between. It's time for happy hour.
I love the jazz here.
I
So nice.
love
So jazzy
jazz,
and
and the
nice.
great thing about happy hour is that it very well goes
Very loud.
into a very good thing that I wanted to talk about, is finding joy without feeling guilty about it.
Yes.
And since it's happy hour, what's something that you, Ren, I haven't
You
even
seem
finished
very
my
happy
statement.
about this. What
you
is
seem
it?
very happy, so I'm gonna let you have it.
Finding joy with without feeling guilty. I beat Cairo in the category game earlier, and I feel no guilt about that.
Ren
You
did
run
in fact
twice. You
beat
won
me
twice.
and
No, I did
Cairo.
concede the second time.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. It's great to feel.
Cairo is in uproar in the window.
Cairo does not think that.
Cairo
does
is
Put the
not
camera on yourself,
agree.
Cairo. Do you
Our
see?
TriCaster.
Our TriCaster
Cairo
feels
does not agree.
upset about this victory.
For me, I think it's really important that as you grow up, you start finding joy in things that you start finding joy in things that you yourself felt guilty
Yeah.
finding joy in. Like, hey, I don't want to go to this event, and I feel bad that I'm just having to text these people like an hour before we're supposed to be like, hey, I'm just not feeling up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I would be at the beginning of the day, and then the day wore on, and I just can't do it. And, like, it's happy hour, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit light, but it's, like, setting those boundaries for yourself and finding, like, relative peace and being like, hey, I can't do this, and that's okay. I know my limitations, and I know my
Yes.
body's parameters. That's a good thing.
That's
Yeah.
a big win. I mean, that's all what happy hour is for. The big wins, or
The
even
big
you know,
wins
small
of
ones as well.
setting those
Yeah.
But, like,
boundaries.
setting boundaries for yourself is phenomenal. Like, I used to feel like super guilty anytime I would be invited somewhere and I just really didn't want to go. And so I'd either go and be miserable or tell them no and then, you know, sulk for the next 2 hours.
It prevents you from resenting your friends.
Yeah.
Because if you go there and you get really tired and you associate that tired feeling with all of your friends, that's not good.
That's not good. That's no bueno. You don't want to do that.
No, you're like
Because-
self-advocating, right?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
self-advocating. Like, for instance, I love this station, and I love being around you guys, but it's not
But
out. It's not
But-
out of the realm of possibility to say that this station is very high energy a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
And if you're not feeling high energy, and if I'm not feeling high energy, I just won't come to the station. Not because I don't want to be around you guys, but because I genuinely
Right, I
can't
see.
handle it. I can't do it that day or that particular time. And then I'll circle back later on in the day, or I'll come back first thing when I have the chance the next day. But, like, your friends, if they respect you and they love you, will know that you need that, like, hey, Jordan's not here. She's probably just not feeling up to it today. Or, to be honest, I don't hang out with you guys 24/7, and you guys don't hang out with me 24/7.
Jordan's not here. I must have done something to make her mad at me.
No.
The world must have ended.
No, you see, that's an example of an automatic thought. Those immediate, like, negative thinks, your brain comes up with.
Negative thinks.
Yeah, the
Those
negative thinks that make you
intrusive
feel bad about yourself.
That's what the
because,
whole show is
like,
about. Negative things.
You text somebody and they don't immediately respond back, and your first thought is they don't like me. Obviously, that's not true
Right.
99% of the time. And so that's an automatic thought. You just automatically jump to those conclusions, even if they're not particularly ones you want to think.
So in
Yeah.
the context of the topic, are those automatic thoughts like manifestations of shame? Like, do you think?
A lot of the time, they can manifest themselves in, like, shameful ways. So you think of, like, things you might have done to make that person mad at you, and then so you think those actions are inherently shameful, and so you kind of, like, beat yourself up for doing that because, oh, no, they're mad at me, and they're not just mad at me, they're mad at me because of this.
And it could be for many things, like you had bad friends in the past who did get mad at you for that sort of stuff. Or like you grew up in a household where like, oh, I didn't reply to my mom in 20 minutes. She's going to be really mad when I get home. So you feel the shame surrounding that as well. There's a lot of areas where you can feel shame, and there are definitely a lot of areas where you shouldn't feel that shame. But you know what you really shouldn't feel ashamed about?
What's that?
This music that we have coming up.
Oh, we have music? You got tunes for us?
We have tunes. still going, so take a breath, get comfortable, and stay right here in your comfort zone. Oh, we're definitely feeling a lot happier, aren't we?
I was definitely clapping along to that fantastic song.
I was definitely clapping along and showing what happiness meant to me.
I know.
Before we get into our discussion, I would just like to clear out for our TriCaster. He has some qualms against the fact that he lost against our wonderful co-host Ren. He says that that is not true, that he did not lose, and that he resents the statement.
Libel and slander.
Libel and slander, libel and slander. We had a whole class about this in WIT. Join the WIT program, by the way.
Hey, shameless plug. Yeah, join the WIT program.
Shameless
You can hang out
plug.
with me
But that
and
is
also
another
the others.
That is another thing about shame. There should be no shame in promoting yourself at all.
That's why I said
if you-
shameless.
Why is it shame?
Shameless.
Shameless.
Without
plug.
shame.
Without shame. That's why it's shame. Like the amount
Like
of
the show.
shameless plugs I've done for Comfort Zone since we've gone on air. Like, I've been shameless plugging this thing since our end of the semester party. I said that in my speech when I got my certificate.
It's not a shameless plug if you're self-promoting. When you think about it like
Yeah, it's not a shameless
I've been
plug if you're
self-promoting
self-promoting.
to one individual over and over again, and I don't think they've picked up to listen yet, and I will keep doing that until they listen.
It's probably because
So-
you keep saying I'm a hands-on learner. They're wigged out.
Hands-on learner, by the way.
They're wigged
Hands-on
out.
learner, by the way.
Well, that's it. That's how I just learned the best. If I learn by doing, right?
No, I'm gonna shame you out of that right now.
No,
I think you're just being needlessly rude to me.
Valid.
There is something that I wanted to discuss because we're all media personalities to some extent now. And I know a couple of us are under the CFM umbrella. I want to talk a little bit about the shame that kind of goes hand in hand with learning to be a media personality for the first time.
Interesting. Okay.
Like going on air, especially when it comes to radio, because I feel like not to diminish radio, but I feel like radio is